Far Cry is not about saving the world, it's about surviving it, usually with a rocket launcher and a moral compass held together with duct tape. But what makes these games unforgettable are the protagonists who rise from being nobodies to legends, reluctant rebels to full-blown anti-heroes. Here are the most fearsome and fascinating leads in Far Cry history. Jack Carver. Before Far Cry became all about cult leaders and moral dilemmas, it kicked off with Jack Carver, a guy in a loud shirt just trying to run a boat tour business. But of course things got sideways fast. One minute he's ferrying a journalist to a spooky island, the next his boat's blown up, mercenaries are chasing him, and he's knee-deep in mutant science experiments called Trigons. So much for early retirement. Jack's your classic reluctant action hero, grumpy, sarcastic, and annoyingly good at jungle warfare. He's contacted by a mystery guy named Doyle, and together they unravel a mad scientist's plot to create a race of super mutants. Naturally, Jack responds by shooting everything that moves. In Far Cry Instincts, the series really says screw realism and gives Jack feral powers, super strength, beast vision, and the ability to sprint like a cheetah on Red Bull. Jack becomes part Rambo, part werewolf, and still all attitude. Jason Brody. Jason Brody walked into Far Cry 3 as a spoiled California adrenaline junkie and walked out as a one-man war crime. Originally just a tourist on a skydiving trip gone wrong, Jason crash lands on the Rook Islands, gets captured by pirates, and barely escapes the clutches of Vas Montenegro, who's somehow even more unhinged than Jason eventually becomes. What starts as a rescue mission quickly turns into a blood-soaked coming-of-age arc, armed with raw athleticism, a mystical tattoo called the Tatao, and a rapidly growing taste for murder. Jason goes from gap year slacker to guerrilla legend. He learns to shoot, craft, sneak, stab, and snipe, all while mutating from terrified rich kid into the island's apex predator. The Tatao doesn't just give Jason cool new abilities, it rewires him. Enhanced strength, speed, reflexes, healing, even intelligence, all dialed up. And each enemy stronghold he raises, each animal he skins, and each warlord he guts, Jason starts to like who he's becoming. Maybe a little too much. Depending on your choices, Jason either flies home a traumatized hero or stays behind as the jungle's newest monster. Rex Power Colt. Sergeant Rex Power Colt is the one-liner slinging cyborg soldier star of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and is basically what happens when you feed an 80s action movie a six-pack of energy drinks and drop it into a synthwave apocalypse. A Mark IV cyber commando rebuilt after the Second Vietnam War, Rex is half man, half machine, and all committed to blowing things up while dropping the filthiest one-liners this side of a VHS tape. He's sarcastic, trigger-happy, and somehow still humble. His mission? Stop Colonel Sloan, a former commander turned Saturday morning cartoon villain, from launching prehistoric biorockets powered by literal blood dragons. Despite his cybernetic upgrades, Rex is the most human thing in a neon-drenched nightmare. He grieves, he fights, he delivers justice with a robotic fist, and never forgets to throw in a cheesy one-liner just to let you know he's doing it with style. Ajay Ghale. Ajay Ghale didn't return to Kyrat to start a civil war. He just wanted to scatter his mom's ashes, but Far Cry 4 doesn't do quiet closure, and Ajay quickly finds himself smack in the middle of a rebellion against pagan Min, a dictator with flair, a throne, and arguably the best-dressed villain energy in the franchise. Born to the founders of the Golden Path and raised in the US with more questions than answers, Ajay's homecoming comes with baggage. Dead parents, a war-torn country, and two bickering resistance leaders who seem more interested in power plays than peace. At first, Ajay is simply trying to do the right thing. By the end, he's knee-deep in moral gray areas, political executions, and hard choices that reshape the entire region. Despite lacking combat training, Ajay adapts fast. Stealth kills, explosive traps, and even wingsuiting across enemy territory. But unlike some of Far Cry's more unhinged leads, Ajay keeps a conscience. He doesn't enjoy the violence, and he regularly questions the people using him as a pawn. Whether he's defying Amida or calling Sabal's hypocrisy, Ajay makes it clear he's not here to be anybody's trigger finger. Takkar. Then Far Cry gave us Takkar, hunter, survivor, and the original king of the wild. Set in 10,000 BC, Far Cry Primal drops us into the prehistoric land of Oros, where Takkar, the last survivor of his hunting party, carves a bloody path from starving wanderer to alpha tribal leader. He's no chatterbox, most of his dialogue is grunted, but what Takkar lacks in small talk, he makes up for in mammoth takedowns, tiger taming, and cave painting level of badassery. After losing his people to rival tribes, the cannibalistic Udam and the fire-wielding Izilla, Takkar does what any sensible Stone Age warrior would: builds a village, unites scattered Wenja, and systematically wipes out both enemy tribes. Along the way, he becomes the Beastmaster, literally. After a vision quest involving some owl spirits and prehistoric hallucinogens, Takkar gains the power to tame saber-tooths, wolves, and even a battle mammoth. What sets Takkar apart isn't just his combat skills or his bone club collection, it's his rare moments of empathy. He shows mercy to defeated enemies, protects Ul's children, and even helps the Wenja learn farming from former enemies. That's character growth in a world where self-help means sharpening your spear. Junior Deputy. In Far Cry 5, you play as the Junior Deputy, a blank slate in a crisp sheriff's uniform, dropped into a powder keg called Hope County. The job? Serve a federal warrant to Joseph Seed, self-proclaimed prophet and cult leader of Eden's Gate. But in classic Far Cry fashion, what should have been a routine arrest ends with a helicopter crash, a shattered team, and an entire county at war. From that moment, the deputy becomes the unlikely tip of the spear in a grassroots rebellion, teaming up with preppers, pastors, and moonshine bartenders to dismantle the Seed siblings, John, Jacob, and Faith, each a twisted mouthpiece for Joseph's apocalyptic gospel. The deputy is the quiet anchor in a sea of eccentric, angry, and increasingly radical personalities, playing the role of everyman hero while chaos spirals all around them. Gameplay-wise, the deputy is a first-person power fantasy with distinctly American survivalist flavor. Homemade explosives, pickup trucks with mounted guns, and enough dynamite to terraform Montana. But the real twist is what happens when they finally reach Joseph. The game's two endings both pull the rug out. Either submit to the cult's control or resist and watch nuclear fire rain down, proving Joseph right all along. It's the rare case where fighting the villain means handing him a win anyway. The Security Captain. The Security Captain, known also as Cap, is what happens when you mix a train-riding humanitarian with Mad Max and a little bit of Home Depot. They're the customizable protagonist of Far Cry New Dawn, and they've got a knack for building weapons out of junk, surviving nuclear apocalypses, and punching their way through cults, twins, and genetically modified bears. Cap starts off escorting Thomas Rush and his band of Reconstruction nerds across post-apocalyptic America. But when their train gets ambushed by the highwaymen, two punk rock warlords named Mickey and Lou, Cap is thrown into the chaos of Hope County. Rush is captured, the train is toast, and Cap has to pick up the pieces with nothing but grit and a suspicious number of saw blades. Long story short, the captain goes full gladiator in a bloodsport arena, infiltrates a prison, and wipes out the twins' entire leadership in a toilet gun ambush. Eventually, they take down the twins themselves, fight a mutant Ethan Seed, and are once again given the choice to kill Joseph, or leave him to his brooding. Dani Rojas. Dani Rojas certainly didn't want to lead a revolution, only to escape one. Born and raised in Yara's capital and orphaned young, Dani had their fair share of brushes with authority, crime, and chainsaw-powered bikes. But when Anton Castillo's regime sinks a boat full of fleeing civilians, killing Dani's best friend in the process, running stops being an option. Dani stumbles into the resistance with no plan, no cause, and absolutely no clue how to wage war. But Dani's arc is all about adaptation. Whether you play as male or female, Dani is fully voiced and more defined than past Far Cry protagonists, which creates an even more immersive experience for the player. Across Yara's divided regions, Dani allies with revolutionaries ranging from cigar-chomping ex-rebels to punk rock live streamers, all while taking down Castillo's inner circle with increasing precision and personal cost. Every victory dents Dani's ideals just a little more, whether it's killing for the cause, navigating betrayals, or watching allies fall to politics and propaganda. Unlike past leads, Dani refuses power at the end, walking away from the throne to keep the fight honest, even if the line between hero and killer has long since blurred. And that's our list. What are your thoughts? Which one is your favorite chaotic character? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more wild gaming breakdowns. We'll see you in the next video.